Alright, by now you might be asking, well, what happens if I have a photograph where I didn't have bracketed shots and I can't go back? How do I extend the dynamic range of that photograph? Well, there's a couple of different ways we can do that. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to use adjustment layers. We'll go back to our layers palette here, and notice we've just got one photograph. So what we need to do is we need to create some adjustments. Now there's two ways we can do this. We can apply the adjustments under image adjustment, or we can apply them using adjustment layers. Now the great thing about using adjustment layers is with adjustment layers we have a mask built in and we can use that mask. So let's do that right now. First thing we want to do is we want to bring out some of this detail and these highlights that are being lost. So let's go and have a look in here, and we can use the curves. And with the curves tool, all we simply do is just click inside the image and drag, and you'll notice a little circle will move around. This is showing the tonal region of the photograph. So we look around the sky and we see our average tone is about where it is now. So what we're going to do is hold down the control key, that would be the command key on Mac, and click once. And by clicking once, what it's doing is adding that dot. Okay, what we want to do now is we want to bring this dot down and darken that sky, because that's the area where the sky is. As we bring it down, notice it's bringing some of that detail back into those clouds now. Right now, all we're worried about is the clouds. Don't worry about the rest of the buildings. Yes, they're getting very dark and they look horrible now. But we've got the detail back in our clouds, and when we're happy, click OK. Now what you'll notice is as we hide that adjustment, we can see there's the rest of the building looks great, but the sky's blowing out. Show the adjustment, sky looks great, but the buildings are too dark. Not a problem at all. If you'll notice here, we have a mask, and this mask is identical to the mask that we had before when we were working with two images, except this time we have an adjustment layer which adds no overhead to the image. When I say overhead, it doesn't increase the image size. Now what we could do is we can just paint with black all these areas that we want to hide from this adjustment and bring them back how they were. So what we simply do is just grab black as our foreground color, grab a brush, and just start painting. And now as we paint, notice that there's our image comes back, and we've still got that nice dark dynamic sky. Let's just go very quickly over here just to show you the idea. And of course you can spend as much time on this as you like to make it look beautiful and exact. In this case we're just going to rush through it. Let's just go around here. I always like to start with the edges and be careful. Try not to go over the edges too much. I'll just hide the palette there. Go down there. Starting with the edges. There we go. And then we'll just fill it in the middle. In fact, I'll grab a bigger brush. Let's just quickly fill that area in with a big brush. Drop it down a little bit for our bridge across there. And then we just hide our palettes. Let's put this in the middle. And we might want to clean it up just a little bit on those edges. And you can see very quickly how we've added that drama there from a single photograph. So let's have a look at the layers palette. And we can see there's our adjustment layer just in the sky. And look at that. So you can see from a single photograph, you can really punch out a lot of dynamic range just by using these masks and adjustments. Let me get rid of this adjustment here, and I'm going to show you another way of doing it. What we can do is if we convert this to an adjustment layer. So we're going to go under Filter, and you'll see under the Filter menu here, there's an option that says Convert for Smart Filters. Let's just click that. And now what it does is it converts this to a smart object. And we could have just right-clicked in the layer palette here and chosen Convert to Smart Object and do the same thing. Now the reason we've converted this to a smart object is because we want to apply the shadow highlight adjustment. And the shadow highlight adjustment is not available as an adjustment layer. But I can do it this way. If I go under Image Adjustments now and choose Shadow Highlight, you'll notice there's two actually, Shadow Highlight and Variations are both available as smart filters. So if I apply this now, you'll notice something about this. Let's turn the shadows all the way down again. If I use the highlight slider, what it will do is recover the areas of highlight. So let's bring this up and notice as I increase that, it recovers that area in the sky. So we can just really punch that up. And now at the same time, we can adjust the shadows. If we want to open up some of the shadows, say right here, where it's a little plugged up, we can just pull that back and it'll open it up. Now, the only problem with the shadow highlight filter or adjustment, as you can see here, as we open it, see we're extending our dynamic range here. Let's do that, and we'll click OK to apply it. Now, if we look at this filter before and after, let's just hide it by hitting the little eyedropper. There's our photo before, and here's our photo with the adjustment. Looks great. It's extended the dynamic range a little bit. Not beyond what the photo was, but there's usually more in that image than you can see. But the only problem, it tends to weaken. If you look around these parts of the image here, it tends to weaken it by lowering the mid-tone contrasts. And you'll see the mid-tones tend to look very washed out. And that's one of the problems with shadow highlight and why a lot of people don't like to use it very much. Well, what we can do now that we've applied this as an adjustment layer, notice there's a mask right here, just like before. So what we're going to do now is we're going to keep those areas where we like that adjustment, and now we're going to grab particularly those areas in the mid-tone now. With black brush, we're going to paint it back how it was before. And notice, you're not seeing as an incredible change like you were before, but now notice the mid-tone contrast. I'm pushing more of that contrast back into those mid-tones so we don't get that watered down kind of look in the image. See, here we go. You're really seeing the mids are looking more believable now. Because that's one of the things, you get that milky, washed down mid-tones just using the shadow highlight, and it's not good. So here we go. We got the best of both worlds. Drop that down, do our bridge again, and there we go. Just from a single image, you can see that we're looking at it before. We've done anything here with the shadow highlight applied, and then of course before and after we did the masking. So you can see how you can combine those masks and those smart filters to really bring the best out of these photographs.